Tune in to the Real Estate Roundup with the River Counties Association of Realtors. Join us every Saturday at 8:30 a.m. on the Mix 104.1 as we explore the latest in real estate. Whether you're buying, selling, or just love real estate, don't miss our expert advice and exclusive insights. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's explore the dynamic world of real estate in our vibrant River Counties community. Catch Real Estate Roundup and make your property dreams a reality. Welcome to the River County Association of Realtors Real Estate Roundup, and today our guest is Melonie Carideo.
Yay!
Did I pronounce that right?
You did. You did
All
great.
Right. Melonie is with Crye-Leike Realtors in Athens. Welcome, Melonie, to our show.
Thank you. I appreciate you asking.
Yeah, definitely. And today, our audience would love to know a little bit more about you. We'll get into your background and the industry right now, too, and just kind of get the chance for them to know what you're all about and what you can do. So let's go ahead and jump on into this. Can you tell us about your background, how you got started in the business, what brought you to Crye-Leike, what brought you to Athens? Have you always been here? Or
oh, my goodness.
The
story. Well, funny you should ask. My background was in performing until I got a real job as a corporate trainer.
Okay.
So I come from a corporate background, and I traveled. I did training for corporations. And when I got pregnant, my friend in Florida was a real estate agent, and I thought, I want her life. So when I was pregnant, we moved back to Tennessee to be closer to family.
Sure.
And I took my real estate classes in Chattanooga every weekend. So every weekend, everyone saw me get gradually larger and larger. And I had read that you kind of lose your brain cells when you're pregnant. So
Right.
I went ahead and signed up to take my test the day after my very last real estate class.
Okay.
And I did have a test that day, but it wasn't the real estate test. My daughter came 2 weeks early. I was very worried about it because I was going to have to pay a 30-day late fee,
Oh, yeah.
no-show fee. So I made my husband call from the hospital and tell them that I couldn't come. And the lady was so nice. She was like, wait, you're having a baby now? Hang up the phone. So I got into real estate really just because I wanted a flexible schedule,
Sure.
being pregnant and an unlimited income. I found out quickly, obviously, that you still have to work.
Right.
The reason I chose Crye-Leike, I was new to Chattanooga, so it was very easy for me to just have an outside opinion. I didn't have any sort of opinion whatsoever. I didn't even know how to get anywhere except Walmart and my doctor. So I interviewed every company in town. Mm-hmm. And being from a corporate environment and an HR and training environment, that was very important to me, was
Sure.
the training aspect. So shout out to still my very favorite broker ever, Kathy Tucker in Hickson. And she tells the story that I actually interviewed her instead of her interviewing me. And
All
I
right.
probably did. But I went with Crye-Leike because of their training. End
Okay.
of discussion. They have Crye-Leike College. They have a very structured training program. And that was just so important to me. And I figured out if I could learn the business, then I can hone it in and do all the other nuances later.
Sure.
So that's why I chose Crye-Leike. The reason I have stayed there for 25 years in October.
Wow, congratulations.
What?
It goes by quick, right?
Yeah, it's because the company makes it easy for us. The support in the office, with our training, we have a great, huge 45-year foundation, of
Right.
a company that's
Sure.
been number one in Tennessee, number one in the Mid-South, number 3 in the nation, constantly over and over again. And that foundation, I just feel like cannot be matched. Of course, I was a recruiter for Crye-Leike for a while.
Sure.
I was an assistant manager, and then I became a managing broker. And I'm currently sitting as the general manager for the East Tennessee region, which is everything from Athens, Tennessee to Johnson City and everything in between.
Okay.
So I've got 9 offices that I'm in charge of, but I'm the managing broker for the Athens office. But when it's all said and done, I'm just a realtor, and not just a realtor. Being a realtor is a lot of things.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm a realtor first.
Sure.
I have to sell houses to feed, house, and clothe my family. And that's sort of the story of Crye-Leike, and I'm just proud that I'm still with a company that is still current and supportive and
Right.
positive. One thing I will say about the owner of our company, Harold Crye, is if he doesn't know what's going on, something that's going on, he surrounds himself with greatness. And I think that makes the perfect businessman, as opposed to somebody who acts like they know everything.
Yep.
If he doesn't know, he gets the right people in place. So very proud of that. And I also love that we are independently owned and operated. We are
Right.
not franchised out for the most part. We do have some franchises if they're out of our circle. But it's great to just pick up the phone and call my guy in Nashville or my guy in Memphis
Sure.
or my favorite person in Mississippi. So I love that, and it makes us really just a part of a huge team. We've got 3,600 agents
Wow.
in 11 states.
Well, that's very good. And I can see with all the things that they provide you guys, why you would stay there so long as you have. So
Yeah, I love to shop around and listen to what people have to say. But when it's all said and done, your support and the positive work environment and being able to call people that are there to answer those questions, especially
Right.
now that I'm on the legal side, and people aren't just waving around
Sure.
like realtors are kind of, sometimes they're bad about doing.
Right.
So I do love that.
Yeah, no, the support is great, and and definitely, like you said, Crye-Leike's got their foundation that's been here, rooted for quite a while too. So.
Yeah, we're getting old.
We all are, right? Let's talk a little bit about the market. So, everybody talks about real estate, at graduation parties and family gatherings and whatever. Everybody wants to know about real estate, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk to them about what trends are you currently seeing in the local housing market? Buyers and sellers, adjusting to these conditions. What kind of market are we looking at right now? Do you think?
The market is always challenging and
Yeah.
exciting and fluid, and that's what makes real estate great. I've been through 4 recessions now, and I'm still standing.
Right. Yep.
I think the biggest thing we're seeing right now, and I've been explaining this to every meeting I've gone to, is we're having this leveling problem, right? So we've got sellers wanting last year's prices,
Right.
or worse, COVID prices.
Yeah.
And we've got buyers that are seeing our inventory up 36% in our area. They're seeing that sellers are possibly starting to give some concessions that they haven't had to do in a while. So what we're having a problem is getting that balance to match.
Okay.
My biggest issue, and what I see my agents struggling with right now, is getting the communication skills to explain to the seller, this isn't last year.
Right.
It's not even 90 days ago, right?
Yeah.
And then getting also a buyer to say, listen, I can't promise you that tomorrow there's going to be 10 more houses to see. At some point, you've got to pull the trigger. Also, buyers are waiting for the rates to go down. PSA, the rates are not going to go down.
Right.
And if they go down, they're not going to change your life.
Yeah.
They're not ever going to be where they were, and that is a problem. But this whole sky is falling mentality is
Right.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
The sky is not falling. Go and find a house
Right.
that you love, and find a real estate agent that knows how to explain that appropriately and communicate your offer. So I'm really seeing our biggest challenges is getting that balance.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think everybody is waiting for the rates to be 3%, 4%.
Never gonna
which,
happen.
Has been historic when it was, but you and I both been around a long time in this industry. We're probably not going to see that again. It's the first time we saw it.
And no buyer wants to hear you say, well, I bought my first house at 10.25%.
Yep.
They
Yep.
just look at you and say, you're old.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do think that we'll see a bit of a wiggle possibly in the end of the third or the beginning of the fourth quarter of this year.
Right.
But when I say a wiggle, I'm talking a wiggle.
Yeah.
I'm not huge stuff. So I would hate for someone to miss a lifetime home, like it checked all the boxes, but
Right.
we're really just waiting for the quote rates to go down, to not pull the trigger. Because remember, if it goes down at least a point, it's worth refinancing.
Sure.
And I just don't see that those are things that are going to happen anytime soon.
Right. And I think some people don't realize that too, of like, you're not locked in, your rate's locked in for the 30 years if you do a 30-year mortgage, but you can refinance that
Absolutely.
if you want. So,
And that's what everybody did too,
Right.
when
Yep.
our rates were so low. So
Yep.
then another little struggle we have right now are sellers who feel like they're trapped in their homes
Right.
because they are sitting at a 3% rate.
yep.
Again, here's the thing I've seen over the last many years of real estate. Life happens, therefore real estate will always happen.
Right.
People get married, people have babies, deaths, people have transfers. So it doesn't matter what the rate ever is going to be. life happens and real estate will happen with it.
Sure. And you got to make your life adjustments, definitely. And as the saying goes, date the rate, that you...
That's right.
You don't keep it forever. So just, you might, but you can always refinance. But
That's right.
Like you said, it is a life-moving moment, of selling your house. So don't stop looking for your dream home.
I agree.
Crye-Leike being one of the largest real estate firms in the region, we talked a little bit about it, but what other things like servicing the clients you feel really set you guys apart as far as, just making that difference of why they should be going with you, especially a realtor from Crye-Leike?
Well, I think what we've seen over the last several years is the perception that high tech is the name of the game for everything.
Sure.
And I'm here to tell you, as a communicator, as a trainer, and a real estate agent, it never takes the place of a human. And there's
Right.
nothing in the tech world. I can send you a form that might make my life as a real estate agent easier. I can send you something for you to sign electronically so you and I don't have to meet, but nothing's ever going to take the place of someone that's going to sit down and have a relationship with you, mentor you through the process, pat you on the hand and say, take a breath.
Right.
I know this seems overwhelming, and this is the steps of home buying, or this is the steps of home selling. And I think that Crye-Leike and some other of what we consider full service real estate models really hones in on the relationship between the real estate agent and the buyer or seller. Now listen, there are a lot of different models out there.
Right.
That is not for me to discuss or judge. I just know that my company is full service. I can recommend you third-party vendors that I know and trust that can help us through the steps, or I don't have to. But I think the most important thing is knowing that it's a company that comes from a big, huge foundation.
Right.
You have to be super careful. You get what you pay for. Okay,
Sure.
That's never going to go away.
Yep, that's true in every aspect.
It doesn't matter.
Yep.
You get what you pay for, and you also get whatever that realtor has paid for.
Right, true.
So if you'll stay with me on that, if that agent has a bunch of initials after their name, okay, that means that they've had to sit in a room and invest their time and a lot of money to get those designations.
Right.
And I started my career knowing I had to go to a company that focused on education, and as an educator in the real estate and community, I still feel that way. I think it's the number one reason we have problems in our industry is agents who just aren't educated, and they don't even know what they don't know.
Right.
Because they went
Right.
to a company that doesn't focus on that. So they have no idea what they don't know.
Right.
And that's one thing that I'm just always going to stand up, and that's going to be my soapbox.
The higher education,
You have to know what
Sure.
you're doing, and so you need to find an agent who has invested in their career.
Yeah, and like you're saying, is that, they're investing in themselves, which allows them to invest in you to give you that better experience and more educated experience.
100%. And listen, everybody knows a real estate agent.
Sure.
Everybody knows a little girl from church.
Yep.
Or my niece just started, and that's okay. We were all new.
Yep.
But where are they getting their knowledge from? Are they getting it from a Facebook page?
Right.
Okay. If realtors are watching this, PSA, stop getting your information from a Facebook page.
Right.
You
Yep.
have a managing broker for that.
Sure.
And if you don't have one that is answering your questions, go find one.
Yep.
Find the support that you need. So I think those are things that have been a detriment to our industry. Technology,
Yeah.
yes, it's great, but it should be gravy
Right.
on top of the mashed potatoes. But you got to have the butter first to make the mashed potatoes good. So
Yep.
you've got to start with some education.
Yeah, and it is always going to be a people business.
100%.
Computers will not replace us, obviously, with that. Can you give your contact information for our audience so they have it? Phone
Yeah.
number, email, whatever.
So
you'd
it's
like.
Melonie Carideo, 423-593-8713. The office number is 423-746-0227. You can find me at Mail, Sales, and More. And you can also go to the Crye-Leike.com website, CRYE-LEIKE.com.
Okay, great, and we will have that again for you throughout the show. So being in this business for a number of years, as you mentioned, and I'm right there with you, and it does go by fast. Any success stories, memorable events, experiences that you'd like to tell everybody, like just a different side of being a realtor in this business?
I think anybody that's been in the business this long could definitely write a book.
Yep.
I doubt anyone wants to hear all of those experiences. I will say that I have done it all wrong, which is great. And you learn from your mistakes. Another reason why you should work for a company that has a big support system. I will tell you a funny story. I have so many, but
Sure. Please
when
do.
I first started, I was pregnant, and then I had my child. And so when I first started with real estate, I had an infant on my hip. And I remember I would just do anything, to learn this business. And I put a little slip of paper in everyone's little mailbox at the office that basically said I'd do anything for $50. Well, I didn't mean that. So there was a sweet little gentleman, older gentleman. He has since passed away. And he said, listen, you might want to reword this letter. And then I realized at that moment that the way I communicated was going to be really important. So that was my very first week lesson. But also, he was someone that said, do you want to just go put some signs in the yards? Do you want to take pictures? This is back when we took our own pictures.
Right. Yeah.
Do you want to take pictures of this house? Do you want to go to Walgreens and develop the photos?
Sure.
And I said, yes, yes, yes. And so that was just something I learned immediately was words matter. And of course, being a communication major in school and doing HR, I knew that. But words matter in print.
Right. Yeah.
Also, I got into the industry in 2000 when foreclosures were, unfortunately, all the rage.
Right.
And I sold foreclosures for almost 4 years. I sold 60 units my very first year, but my average home price was like $30,000.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot of the hard knock life of real estate, selling foreclosures. And I sold a house because an agent stuck a sign in a yard because they thought that was the foreclosure they were selling.
Yeah.
And we bought it, and then we started remodeling it. We, meaning my client, started remodeling, only to find out that that agent had actually put the sign in the wrong yard.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so I sold a wrong house. So that's how bad things. I've done some really bad things. I've been bit by a few dogs. I was showing a house one time, and some folks just came out from underneath the house where I guess they were hanging out, living. And they looked at me and said, "How long will you be?"
No.
So the foreclosure world really taught me the hard knock life of a real estate agent to the point where when I started selling homes with running water, I would be like, "What do you mean, Michael? What do you mean you don't want to buy this house? It's got running water and electricity." Yeah. And so as I went into regular real estate, I also learned the importance of letting the buyer just go and process a home.
Sure.
And that I do not sell houses. Right. Houses sell houses.
Sell themselves, yep.
And I need to just open the door. And if they ask me a question, I need to have the data available. Yeah. So, whereas in the foreclosure world, it was more like, this is how much it's going to cost. These are all the things. And you did a lot of talking. Yeah. But in the non-foreclosure world, you just shut your mouth. Right. So I've got some crazy stories, but they've all molded me to be really a tough cookie in this business. Sure. It makes me pretty no nonsense. You either love me or you hate me, but I'm never going to lie. I'm never going to fib to you. So that's kind of it's all a molding process. Oh yeah, definitely. And by doing some things, where you get the hiccups, that's how you learn, and that's how you do it better the next time. So yeah, we hope that doesn't come back, and we hope the foreclosure world never gets that bad again. Yeah. No, we don't want to see that return. That means we got a bigger problem going on in the economy. So how do you stay connected, and being involved in your community outside of your work? Because as you mentioned too, realtors, you work a lot of hours. It's not a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. It's weekends, holidays, graduation days, and everything else that comes along. So how do you stay involved in the community and connected with your sphere of influence? I don't know how anyone can do this job and not be in their community. Right. So I just got done for an hour before I got here working on some volunteer homeowners association work for a subdivision. obviously I'm doing that work, and I'm in touch with those people in that subdivision every month. Right. I'm heavily involved in our arts center at the Athens Area Center for the Arts. That was my first love. I was a theater major, and I worked in the industry for 10 years before I got a real job, as my mother calls it. So that is where I'm able to shake my hair out and let go of all the frustrations of real estate, go into an environment that is totally different than my work environment, but also I give them my heart and soul down there, and I know that they would never do real estate without me. Sure. That's not why I'm there. Right. But it is a benefit. I feel like if you give to the universe is going to give back to you. Yep. So we're about to open Matilda in a week. If anybody wants to come see a great show, I'm directing Annie this year. We are doing 4 or 5 main stage shows. And we have a lot of people from Cleveland and Knoxville that come to join us there. So that is something that I do for my soul, but also obviously it benefits my career as well. I'm also obviously super involved in my church. I'm going on a mission trip in 3 weeks. So when my daughter was still here, when she was young, I was a soccer mom, I was a track mom. Right. I remember when she left and I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now that there's no soccer? Because I didn't realize how involved being a soccer mom was to my schedule, to my industry too. Sure. So, I just think there's so many opportunities and ways to be involved in your community, and it fills my cup. Okay. I know a lot of agents are like, I can't do anything else. My brain hurts. But for me, being busy like that re-energizes me and fills my cup up so that I can then deal with real estate. And help others, yeah. That's nice. And you're also on the board at the association as well, so you got time commitments. Yes, so I try to stay relevant. There are days when I just don't want to read one thing about real estate. Right. People always say, do you read for fun? Absolutely not. And I don't play video games because I'm on the computer all day. So I do try to find times to disconnect. Yeah. Yeah, you got to recharge your batteries. Yep, I do. Definitely. So. I also have, 300 agents that are calling me with questions. Right, with their own questions, yep. And they know what time I get up. So they're like, I'll call her at 7 because I know she's awake when I'm really not supposed to, quote, clock in till 8 o'clock. Right. So, but it's fine. Yep. It's fine. They learn it. They know it. As we get to the end of our show, so buyers and sellers thinking about, getting into today's market. So what's something of advice you would give to them to get them started, or a common pitfall that they should be aware of? Okay, common pitfall. Get off the computer. Yep. And call a local, licensed, educated agent. Okay. You doing all the doing all the work on the computer and you think you're doing all this great stuff, right. You have to be so careful as a buyer and seller, because remember, that information that's coming in online is not local. Right. It's not even sometimes regional. Yeah. So you're setting yourself up for failure. Yeah. Call someone who knows your market, call someone who is licensed, and don't call your mama or your uncle or your neighbor, yep. And don't look at what your neighbor did. Just call a licensed agent. And I'm not trying to just push a licensed agent on someone, but it's really because the data that people are getting online is not correct. Right. It's just not correct. Yep. And it's not current, and it's not has nothing to do with your street, what street you live on. Yeah. And some houses are listed out there, and vacant land listed out there that should not be listed, that somebody did, change something on their title or whatever, and they're selling somebody else's property. So many things to think about that sellers don't know. And buyers will go on a third-party vendor online, and then they get frustrated. Or maybe they think they're approved for a house only to find out that that's not the price point. And boy, you sure hate to look at a $500,000 house only to find out that you really can only go, $399, because that's a whole different house. Big difference, yeah. Yeah, it takes you into a whole different market segment. Right. And, so one of your advice steps for buyers would definitely be to contact a realtor and get yourself pre-approved first, then, is what I'm hearing. 100%, because pre-approval is not the price that you can pay. Right. It's the price that you are willing to pay. Right. And did that approval include taxes and insurance? Yep. Did that approval include you paying all your own closing costs, which is, by the way, buyers, that's your responsibility, no matter what your lender says. Yeah. There's a lot of things that need to be discussed. And also, I really recommend buyers, you need to be having a consultation with the agent for the process. If your agent if you just call some agent and they're like, meet me at 123 Marigold Lane in 5 minutes, and they do that, you're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
And it's doing a disservice to you. You need to have a consultation to understand all the elements that go into it.
And you suggest to do that consultation in the office, right?
I suggest that you do the consultation if you can in person somewhere.
Right.
Somewhere. Yeah. And if not, I'm under contract right now with someone that is buying a home over Zoom.
Sure.
So those things happen. I sold a lot of houses on FaceTime during COVID.
Yep.
So those can happen, but the biggest issue is that we need to talk about the process prior to going over the threshold and looking at a house. And a lot of times people are like, well, we just want to look and see what's out there.
Yeah.
Well, now you've got a seller on the other side that just had to, crate their dogs, move their kids, and clean
Organize
their house.
Everything, yep.
While you decided whether or not you may or may not want to look at a house. Right. So you have to be, respectful and show grace and understand that this is a process.
Yeah, and sellers are living in that home for the most part. Most houses are occupied, and they got lunch or dinner or whatever, that they got to deal with, and kids and all that stuff. So it is big when you say, let's just go look. Well, you're also impacting somebody else's life, like you said.
And then on the flip side, if you're a seller, I highly recommend, again, that you're getting someone licensed in your home because knowing what your neighbor sold their house for 90 days ago is not today's market.
Right.
You live in your house, and I don't, so you need an outside party to come and look at your home,
right?
And take a look and see, do you have any homework you need to do? And on the other side, there are sometimes people are like, oh, we have so much work to do, and then I'll go over there and I'll say, Michael, you don't have any work to do. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like this looks great.
Yep.
So sometimes it's usually people either have nothing to do, but they think it's a mess, or they think their house is just fantastic and I wouldn't walk through the front door yet.
Right.
So that's why us as humans, we need to be involved in the process.
Yeah, and it's an objective point of view,
100%.
So, yeah, definitely, and I get that. Melanie, as we wind up in our last minute, can you give everybody again your contact information so they know how to get a hold of you?
Yeah, Melonie Carideo, 423-593-8713, or the Crye-Leike office, 423-746-0227.
Awesome. We appreciate you being here today. Any last words that you'd like to share with our listening audience? Any
last words? No. Don't panic. Don't panic. I will say this. You are not saving lives. We're just selling real estate, and it can all be done. And there's a buyer for your house, and we will find you a house. Even though you may have looked at 25, just trust the process.
Yeah, and the inventory is going to change, and you're going to find the right house. But like you said, trust the process. It's going to happen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do you imagine a career with flexibility and limitless income potential? It's possible by becoming a Realtor. The River Counties Association of Realtors, located right here in Cleveland, Tennessee, is ready to help you unlock your potential. We're your go-to resource for guiding you to obtain your Tennessee real estate license. We're more than just realtors. We're a vital part of our community. Partnering with local charities, we work tirelessly to make a difference. Join the River Counties Association of Realtors today, where your career can thrive and community can too. Visit rivercounties.com or call 423-476-5912. Your new path awaits.